just finished knitting myself this really cute scarf. It is the Sophie scarf from Petite Knit. I really like it and I really like knitting, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's knit something else. But let's go a little bit more extreme for myself, okay? I've only knit a few things and one sweater. So I'm gonna try again. The sweater that I'm going to attempt to make, I say attempt because I don't know how long it's gonna take and I don't know how it's gonna turn out, is the roomy raglan sweater. I see a lot of people making this sweater and I get influenced easily, and I'm like, well, if they're all making it, I also would like to try to make this. How many sweaters have I knit? One. I've only did one. And that was the step-by-step sweater. I really like this sweater. I liked how it turned out, even though it is a little bit wider than I thought. I think it's adorable and I really like it. So I want to try again with another raglan sweater. Now you might be wondering, what yarn are you going to use, Michelle? I'm going to use this one. It is the Lang Yarns Cloud Merino Extra Fine Super Wash. The color I believe is Rainbow.
Sunflower. Rainbow.
It is 90% wool and 10% nylon. I've never used this yarn before, and I've never used yarn like this where it's like this like puffy stuff. I don't know. And I know a lot of people who are making the roomy raglan, their sweaters are very neutral toned, very earthy toned. And although I love brown and taupe and beige and everything like that, I just love the idea of making a striped sweater. The last sweater I did was also striped. I was kind of hoping that it'd be like more striped, but it kind of like blended in together, and that's okay. But what I'm really hoping is that this really stripes itself out. What is so funny about this yarn is that I didn't think I was gonna get this, okay? So I went to my favorite yarn store, Central Pearl, the other day for Crochet Club, and that's when I was like really interested in getting her opinion on what yarn I should buy for this project, because I know she sells Lang yarns there, but she doesn't sell the cloud yarn. So I was really kind of hoping to get her opinion on maybe a different type of yarn that I can get that would also give me like this stripy pattern to it. It just so happens that a customer, I don't know how long ago, like a month or two ago, probably 2 months ago, had requested her to order in this exact yarn. And then the customer ended up not needing it anymore, which meant Stephanie had this in her back room for about a month until I came in, and I'm like, hey, would you know what I could use instead of like buying this? Because I know you don't sell it. She's like, hold on a minute, went in the back room and came out with these. She came out with these. I actually got the yarn that I wanted, and I didn't have to go elsewhere, and I didn't have to compromise the yarn and get something that I was like iffy about. I do want to point out that this was my second choice, okay? The first choice was this color here. It's this beautiful purples and pinks, and I would have loved to make this into the sweater that I'm going to make, okay? That's my number one yarn. This was the second, okay? So it was between that one and this one, and it just so happens that she got this one. And I'm really glad, because apparently this yarn is kind of like being sold out everywhere, and I think it's probably because people are buying it. So I just really lucked out that I was there at the right time and I got the yarn that I wanted. However, while I was there, I also had to buy more knitting needles, okay? It's not like crocheting, where crocheting, I have my BWA hook, which has all the hook sizes that I need, but for knitting, you have to keep buying them. And I don't have the full collection yet. I needed to buy these. These are the ChiaoGoo Twist Lace Interchangeables, and I had to get them in a 6.5 millimeter, which is a 10.5 US. As someone who is new at knitting, it's probably gonna take me a little bit longer to make. My goal is I want this to be done before local yarn store day, so I really would like to get this done before April the 25th. I think I can, and if I just stick with this, I feel like I'll be able to get it done, and I'll be able to wear it for local yarn store day. If you're new to my channel and you like crocheting and knitting and yarn and thrifting and the 80s and like all that jazz, why not hit the subscribe button? The plan. The pattern that I'm going to be doing is the Roomy Raglan by Jules Efterfield. This is a free pattern and I found it on Ravelry. The yarn I'm going to be using is the Lang Cloud yarn, and I'm doing it in the color Rainbow. This is also 008. The needles I'll be using are the ChiaoGoo Twist, and I'm going to be using a 4.5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, and a 6.5 millimeter. So I started it. I had to learn the long cast on method, and I had to do that 3 times. The first time I did it too loose. The second time I did the whole thing, but then I realized that the cable was way too long. And the third time is looking pretty good. Also, I have to say that my neck for this looks a lot better than the step-by-step sweater, so that's great. Last night I got this much done. For some reason, this is kind of looking like melted sherbet ice cream. Like, to me, that's a tall enough collar. Like, I don't know if I want the collar to be any higher than this. Like, this is 2 inches. I think having another inch would push me too far over the edge in like comfortability. And I'd hate to make this whole thing and the neck be the problem. And then I never wear it because the neck is the problem. Like, that seems like good enough for me for a collar. It's not like making the collar any longer is gonna make it any wider. It's the same stitches across. I think I might be done the collar. No! All right, I did it. I did the German short rows. They're done now. I'm very excited about that. I couldn't film myself doing it because I kept having to use TikTok and my phone to like look up what I need to do. It made sense, but when it came to, again, I wrote it all down, the M1LP and the M1RP, which was make one left, make one right, but purl version, I had to watch a video every single time I did them because I kept forgetting. I now have to switch to a longer cable. All I have to do is just knit in the round and I don't have to do any more purling. I'm very happy that I can just knit and just focus on knitting for a while. We're doing my first kind of official update on this where I can try it on. It's so strange. I don't know if I like the collar because it looks so out of place compared to the rest of it. Like, it's so like pink and green, and then everything else is like this lighter pink and this blue. I thought I was gonna have more problems with like the German short rows and how they look. I'm not undoing it. I'm not redoing it. It is what it is. We're going forward, okay? But maybe when I get to like the cuffs and the bottom, maybe because of that ribbing, it will look a little different. I don't know. I mean, like, it's hard for me to tell. Like, when I get close, it's like very bright. So like this just looks so much brighter than everything else. This is what the back is looking like. It's kind of hard with the string, and it's just the way it's like rolling. The pattern says I have to get 12 inches from here to like this part here has to be 12 inches. How many have I done? About 6 inches. So I still have to go another 6 inches. I think it is going a lot faster because it is chunkier yarn. It's also really interesting knitting with chunky yarn comparing to crocheting with chunky yarn. If I were to crochet this, I would probably be done the yoke by now. I'd like to get a little bit farther on this today, you know, maybe add another 3 inches to this. Okay, so I was knitting, I was working, and then Whispers came out of nowhere and he just is sitting and he won't let me knit. But he's so cute. He just wants so much attention right now. Oh, he's a good boy, but I really want to get this done. I just want to show you how pretty this yarn is. Look at that perfect little rainbow right there. So cute. I also do think that this one here, this is the second one of these that I've had to use on my project. And this one has a lot more blues and purples in it. I don't know if you can really tell there's the difference. It does look all the same. It matches. It's good. I find this one has a lot more blues and purples than the first one did. And I think it's super pretty. So I did this little thing on the back. Don't really know what it was. I guess it's to create ease or something. The pattern told me to do it, so I did it. I don't know enough about knitting not to do something when they tell me to do something. The front ended off on this like really bright pink, and then I did a bunch of rows in the back, and somehow I got to the front again and it's the same color pink. What I'm kind of afraid of is that all these look so nice, you know, like they're all different colors. And then this row is going to be twice as thick of all the other colors. And I don't want that happening. So I'm going to take all the work that I did back to this sleeve here And I'm gonna cut the yarn and reattach it with a new color. Just cut the vibrant pink off. That's gonna bother me. And when I'm done and I'm looking at this, I'm gonna be like, why didn't I do that? And me being me, I'm not gonna take it apart to redo it. I'm just gonna do it now. It sucks because I should have done it here, but I thought the color was gonna change. And it didn't. For the entirety of the front, it's a double pink. So I will be taking it apart. We're gonna do another try on. I finished the yoke last night. I'm so happy. And then after I was done the yoke, it was like, oh, now you gotta do some things on the back and you have to do some stockinette and some pearls again. I'm like, yay, this is it. Very, very wide. Have I made it a little bit too wide? I hope not. It's called the roomy raglan, so it's supposed to be roomy. I think this is looking like a roomy raglan. I don't know. So yesterday, as you saw, you see this like really bright pink color right here. What ended up happening is that was the last row I did when I was going around and around and around. And I had to do a few rows in the back, and then eventually I came back to the front. And when I was coming back to the front, it was the exact same color again. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I was going across. And like, maybe it will switch to another color. It didn't. The whole row was a double of that bright color. And because everything else is just single, I couldn't do that. I couldn't just have one row of bright pink. So I had to take it off and redo it. It's just really weird how it's fitting right now, only because it's still on the cable, so it's like rolling up. My goal is by the end of this weekend, today is Thursday, I'm hoping by Monday morning, the front and the ribbing will be done. I hope so. This is the original sweater that I made, the step-by-step one, and then this is the one that I'm currently making. It is kind of the same length as this. Yeah, part of me like doesn't want it to be that big, but then the other part of me is like, the way that this is very thick, if it was any smaller, would it be more uncomfortable, if that makes sense? I also feel like this one here, just because of how light it is, and it was made out of cotton, not 100% cotton, but there was cotton in this one here, just the way that it fit was a little off. And I think this one, because it's heavier, it's going to fit differently. Finally going to give you an update on this. I got the ribbing done at the bottom. Not gonna lie, it took me 6 hours, if not more, just to do this. Doing the Italian bind off, at first, it was kind of difficult, and I had to watch the same TikTok video about 5 times, but I kind of written it down. It will probably not make sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me. Ribbing is done. I'll do a try on tomorrow. I get to start the sleeves now, so that's fun. I think it's more wider than I thought it was going to be, but it is a really good length, especially once it gets blocked out. I just hope it becomes like that really flowy sweater that everybody else has. That's what I'm hoping for. Now that I'm on the arms, I have to decrease every 6th row, and I have to do this for 9 inches. I have both of my row counters. This row counter here I like to use to keep track of how many rows I'm going to be doing for this sleeve, because the pattern doesn't tell you how many rows. I feel like with crocheting it does, but with knitting it's just like, as long as you get to this length, it's like, okay. I like to keep notes of that. And then this one is going to be for my row increases. So every time I do a row, I'll hit this one and I'll hit this one too. And then when this one gets to 6, then I know on the 6th row or the 6th round, I have to do my decrease, and then I can just reset it and go back up to 6. This one's just so much easier for resetting. I know I have the rounder row counters, but for that one you have to like manually move it in order to reset it, whereas this one just has a little reset button. Roomy raglan update. I finished the body and the ribbing, and this is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like on the side. It's doing the exact thing I didn't want to do like the last one, and I know it's on me. I might have made it a little bit big. However, the measurements are mathing. The amount of rows, like say for the sleeve, are correct. I just have to keep reminding myself that roomy is in the name of roomy raglan, thus it's supposed to be oversized. Again, I am just so used to like how crochet fits me that doing anything else like knitting is throwing me off a little bit. I was able to start the sleeve yesterday, and I had to start another one of these. This is the 4th one I've had to do. I think the first one stopped up here. Second one went here, and then this is the 3rd one. A lot was used on this ribbing. Anyways, that is the update for right now. For the sleeves, I did actually switch my needles, so I'm still using the 6.5, but I switched to the shorties, so these are only 3 inches. Compared to these ones are 4 inches. Because I'm doing the sleeve, you don't really want this long needle because of how small it is. I'm also using the 14-inch cable that goes around. I may have to switch to a smaller one. It goes from 14 to 8 plus 3 and 3 inches. So that's 6 plus 8. That'll be like 14 inches around. The sleeves are going pretty well. I also love how the color looks on the sleeve. I kind of wish like this was on here, and I know I technically could get this effect if I went like back and forth, but because it's around and around and around. But yeah, just thought I would let y'all know what I'm doing for there. And what's so funny is when I crochet, you don't need to switch cables, you don't need to switch needles, you just use the same one for the entire thing. It's so much easier. But no, with knitting, you have to keep buying things because you need things for certain things and you can't use what you already have. You need something new. Okay, I am currently filming on my phone because I really don't want to set up my camera right now. I just want to show you the progress on the sleeve right now. This is it. If I pull it down, because it's going to get stretched down, it already goes down to there. So when I'm blocking it, I'm going to stretch out the sleeves to whatever length that I want them to be. And hopefully that's what will happen. Yeah, so that's my update right now with the sleeve. I'm hoping to get this sleeve done today. This one's going to have to wait till tomorrow because I also have to do the Italian bind off again, which I absolutely love, but it takes a really long time. So I can see myself finishing the ribbing and then doing the Italian bind off and then calling it a day. And then tomorrow really focus on this arm. Yep. Okay. No, don't. Oh, okay. Oh, don't. He's so cute though. He's got his big paws. He's just like Totoro. The second I turn the camera on, he's like, wait a minute, I need to be the star. I just have to finish this ribbing and the sweater's going to be done. And then I can block it. And I can use my new blocking mats, which I bought. And I'm really excited to use those. I don't think I'm gonna get the sleeve done tonight, but I'll definitely get it done tomorrow. The yarn got real chunky, like super chunky. That's just gonna look weird, so I'm gonna cut the chunk off, is what I'm gonna do. Can you see the thickness difference? Yeah, that's really the only issue I had with the yarn the whole time. I've finished knitting it. I finished it last night, and it is so nice that it's done. As you can see, this is pre-blocked, okay? This will be getting blocked, and it will be different. So we'll just do a 360 view of what it looks like before I block it. So we have the front, we have the side, and we have the back, and we have the other side. So the sleeves are not going to be this length. They are going to be longer. So if I just pull them down a little bit. Just by pulling them down, they've already lengthened, although they are like shrinking back up. This is definitely gonna be longer. I think it's probably gonna be more like this long. I don't want it too long, okay? I want it like maybe here. This is just kind of like just showing you what it looks like before I block it, because obviously things are gonna change once I block it, and then once it's all done and there it is. Sorry, I was looking everywhere for this the other day. It's my tape measurer. I thought it was over there. Is over there. When I do my final try on, once it's all blocked and everything like that, then we can go over all my notes and how I feel and measurements and everything like that. That way we can see what it measures now compared to what it's going to be measured when it's fully blocked. So if you watched my latest vlog on Monday, I bought new blocking mats. They were on sale at the time, but then I looked again and they went up in price, so it just all depends. And the only reason I got these gray ones, because you know me, I probably would pick white, or I would pick pink. I mean, I'd pick orange or yellow if that was an option. Anything that was colorful or fun was more expensive. This one was like almost like $10 cheaper. So I just got gray. It's just for blocking, and it comes with like T-pins and some stitch markers, which, you know, I always lose them, so that's always good. I haven't used these yet, so this is the first project that I get to use these new blocking boards, blocking mats, whatever you want to call them. They are just thick foam pieces. So I should probably stop talking and start blocking. Now that I have it laid flat to the size that I want, I'm going to take some T-pins and pin it and then let it dry for a few days. Okay, so this sat for about 2 days. I put this Tuesday afternoon. It is now Thursday morning and it feels dry. You know that thing where it's like, you don't know if it feels dry or if it feels cold? That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel wet. So I'm going to unpin it. My roomy raglan sweater is now done. It is blocked, and this is what it looks like. It is very flowy, I, for some reason, didn't think it was going to be very flowy. I don't know why. The yarn, I feel like stretched out a lot. I mean, like, look at this sleeve. Look at this sleeve. Do you see what blocking did with this sleeve? Yesterday, I actually wanted to film the outro of this. And then I like tried it on in the mirror and I'm not gonna lie, not the happiest about it, okay? It was just certain things. However, I am very glad that I slept on it because I know a solution now and I'm very happy with it, with what I'm going to do with this. Okay, so first off, this is the fit. And surprisingly, the width of it is not the problem that I'm having. Let me just show you what it looks like, the 360, and then I'll kind of get into my thoughts. We have the front, we have the side, we have the back, and we have the other side. The two things that I want to change is first, the neckline. It grew a lot. Also, I kind of forgot until I started editing it that I did not do the neckline as long as they suggested. And that's on me because I didn't know what was gonna happen. So should I have made the neckline 3 inches? Yes, but I didn't. I think maybe the neckline, I could have not stretched it out as much. And then the bottom of it, because I did the Italian bind off, I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's like flaring out in front and flaring out in the back. And I didn't really want that to happen. I think that's what the Italian bind off does sometimes. So if you don't want the flaring, maybe don't do the Italian bind off. However, the Italian bind off for the sleeves, I love it. I love the sleeves. I think the sleeves are like my favorite part of this entire project. I love how like flowy they are. I think I'm going to reblock the collar and I'm going to reblock the bottom ribbing. If I would have had time yesterday to do it, absolutely, but this took about 2.5 days to dry, and obviously I did not have another 2.5 days to wait for this. So I think maybe today even I might just reblock the top here and reblock the bottom, and then when I do one of my sit down Monday vlogs, I can show you what's changed, okay? Other than that, this yarn, I loved working with it and I love how it feels. It is so incredibly soft and lightweight. If I were to have used this same yarn and crocheted it, I feel like it would be very dense and very chunky and very bulky and heavy, and I would feel uncomfortable. So wearing something like this, even though it is really oversized, which again, like I love my oversized stuff, because it's knit, it's very flowy and it feels really nice. But if this was the same size but in crochet, I don't think I would ever wear it because it'd be way too bulky. This is what it looks like out. So there's like a lot of space on the side. So yes, I did not have to do this much. I did not have to do that much. And again, I'm new to knitting. Even though I have blocked a few crochet things, I've blocked a few knitting things, but nothing to like this extent that I knew that it was gonna grow out this much. Like if I knew this, like I probably would have stopped the arms all the way up here. But at the time, it wasn't this big, okay? So I definitely am going to reblock certain parts, which is kind of neat to think about. Like if you don't like how it fits, you can just reblock it. Again, depending on the yarn, because this is what, like 90% yarn and nylon or something like that, but or not yarn, of course it's gonna be 90% yarn. The whole thing is 100% yarn, 90% wool. It blocked very nicely and I do want to reblock it a little bit. One of the other things that I do want to mention is because of this yarn here, I think I would have started with another ball of yarn than the one that I did. Now knowing what it does here, I probably would have picked one that maybe started with like some blues and pinks in it, whereas this kind of looks like sherbet, looks like a watermelon. I'm fine with that now, like seeing how the arms are and how it looks together, it looks very cohesive. When I was just doing the body, I was kind of panicking. I probably would have picked a different color for the top. I'm not used to doing knitting ribbing. Usually when I do ribbing crochet, you go like up and down and you do your ribbing like this, where for knitting, you go around in a circle. The amount of yarn it took me was about 4 things of yarn for this. And if I were to use this yarn again, which again, I would like to if I can get my hands on the purple version of this, I don't think I would be doing a raglan. I think I would be doing front panel, back panel, and then however you attach the sleeves. I haven't gotten that far in my knitting journey. Okay, I've only done raglan sweaters and I've only done 2 of them. You see how the stripes on the arms are, how beautiful the rainbow is. Even this one It's so strange how both sleeves are completely different. If I were to use this particular yarn again, I wouldn't be doing a raglan, I would be doing flat pieces to get this type of effect, whereas I kind of got this effect, which honestly just looks like a gobstopper, and I kind of like that too. It just depends on the type of pattern you use, because your stripes could end up looking like this, or they could end up looking like this. Take that into account if you are going to use this type of yarn. Now it's time to go over the notes for this sweater. First off, I do want to point out that this sweater took me 41 hours to make. I started this project on February the 28th, and I finished this project on March the 23rd, about 4 weeks to make one sweater. Now, if this was crocheted, I probably could have made 2 sweaters in that time. But I do enjoy knitting, and I do like the outcome of this sweater. Yesterday, when I first tried it on, I'm like, oh no, I've made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
But then I was kind of thinking about it overnight, and I'm like, well, the only 2 issues that I really have with it is I wish the neckline was a little bit closer, even though it's like not that bad now. Like yesterday, I don't know, I was like freaking. I'm like, oh no, I stretched the neck out too long, and like now I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not that bad. Honestly, the only problem I have with this sweater is that it flares out, and I think that has to do with the Italian bind off. And speaking of Italian bind off, it took me a while to learn it, but I actually really like it. I really like it for the cuffs, so like I would definitely do the Italian bind off for cuffs now, but I don't know if I'll ever do it again for the bottom. One, it took a really long time, but also it flares out, and that's not really what I wanted. But also, I wasn't too sure how the Italian bind off would be with this particular yarn, just the way that the yarn is made. I was really afraid that it was going to be that type of yarn that if you tried to sew with it, it would just like fall apart. Very much like that other sweater that I did. It was like that purple Halloween Hobie yarn, and I tried to sew the parts together with the same yarn, and as I was using my yarn needle and sewing it, it was literally just coming apart. So that was kind of my fear with this, but honestly, it was fine. You just got to go slow. You can't rush it, because sometimes it would tangle itself out just a little bit, and you kind of have to unknot it. But it didn't happen a lot as long as I went slow. The measurements. I took measurements before blocking and after blocking. The first number is pre-blocking, and the second number is after it was blocked. The height of the sweater from the bottom of the collar to the very bottom of the sweater originally was 18.5 inches. Then after blocking, it is now 20.5 inches, so it grew 2 inches. The width of it before and after blocking was exactly the same at 28 inches. I did not want to widen it anymore. For the sleeves, underneath the arm was originally 11.5 inches, and then after blocking, it is now 16 inches. I added 4.5 inches to the sleeve length. For the width of the sleeve before and after was both 8 inches. I did not want to stretch that out anymore. And then I wanted to show you a side-by-side comparison. On the left is before blocking, and on the right is after blocking. I really only wanted the body to be stretched, and I wanted the arms to be stretched. I think I give it like an 8 out of 10. There are a few things that I would like to change in the future. Now I know this, but honestly, the size of it doesn't bother me at all. I love how flowy it is. I love how soft this yarn is. This yarn is so soft. I absolutely love it. Is it a little expensive? Yes, but if I have the right pattern and I know what I'm doing, I would definitely buy this again. In the comments below, let me know if any of y'all have done the roomy raglan or are working on the roomy raglan. I thought it was a very beginner friendly project. Even the German short rows weren't that bad. It did take me a little while to figure them out, but after I did it, I don't feel like they're so scary anymore. But yeah, let me know if you guys are also working on this project. I think that does it for this video, so y'all have a good day now.